guys, and welcome back to my channel. My birthday was last week. Happy 22nd to me. And I was gonna do a whole like dress up and eat sort of thing, but then a cat decided to leave a present in our yard where I would have like modeled the outfit I made. How did I know it was a cat? There's actually video footage of it. I can't like, I can put it here, but it's gonna be a little warning, gore warning, I guess. A little gore. It's not like bad gore, but it's just a visual representation of the cat. So yeah, that was that, and I didn't want to go outside and find out where that rat's family was mourning, so I left that be. Plus it would have been a lot of work to try and sew that and then gather my ingredients, do meal prep and stuff. I was just like, let me just do one thing, and then I could always just do another video on me making the outfit at another time. So today's video will be on me making my birthday lunch. I know that I have not done a cooking video in like a long time, so here we go. Today's menu will be, what was that again? Today's menu will be meatballs in tomato sauce, potatoes in like a creamy sort of dish. It's like kind of like a pie, like a macaroni pie, like, you know, mac and cheese sort of deal. And then I would make garlic bread for the side, like bake the bread from scratch, make the garlic butter from scratch, everything. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. First up, we're gonna start by making our meatballs. I already pre-seasoned my meats using soy sauce, chive, onion, flavor pepper, sweet pepper, black pepper, and a small amount of salt because soy sauce already has any salt. To bind the meat, I'm going to use breadcrumbs, which I already made before. And in case you wanted to know, you toast the bread until it's crispy and crumbles in your hand. And you simply put that in the blender and crush it to the consistency you want it to be. Mine turned out to be really fine, but it doesn't have to be. You'll also need eggs to bind the meatballs with. My amount of meat only needs 1 egg, but if you're doing more, add more egg. Now this part of the video was corrupted for some reason, so basically all you do is you put in enough breadcrumbs to bind the meat and it forms balls without falling apart. And this is what it would look like. It's a little more like a paste, a dough in essence. You get a pan, and the sauce that I'm using for the meatballs is the Hunt's Italian sausage sauce. Pasta sauce, actually. In true Caribbean fashion, I am going to add more seasonings to my sauce. So first up, you take the sauce and add it to a separate bowl. I'm going to dilute it a bit because the meatballs are going to be in the oven for an hour and they're going to need the moisture so they don't dry out. So just mix that together and that's it. Now here are my seasonings. They're basically the same thing as what is in the meat, except I added garlic for a stronger flavor. Now all you're going to do is just dash that right in there with the tomato sauce and give it a mix. And what you're going to do is you're going to make a layer using half the sauce to act as the grease for the pan. What you're going to do is make sure it's spread evenly because you do not want your meatballs to stick. And the other half of the sauce is going to go on top of the meatballs once they're done. I wanted to make sure each person in my family got 3 meatballs. That's 4 people. I can't exactly remember the weight of meat I used, but what you're gonna do is try to make sure and squeeze them tight so they're not packed too tight, but at the same time they will not fall apart as they bake. And this is about the size that I got. So here's me just finishing up making the rest of the meatballs. And after that, you're just going to pour the rest of the sauce on top. Make sure all are coated, so it's like a nice little marinade. Just pop those in the oven now, and as I said before, they're going to be in there for an hour, so just make that the first thing you do. Next up, it's to work on the potatoes. Now please, scrub your potatoes, please. There's a difference between a potato that is rinsed and a potato that is scrubbed. If you're like me, who cuts very slowly, get a bowl of water. It's gonna stop your potatoes from turning brown. The size of potato I wanted was to cube it. If you want to do it more like scallop potatoes, that's fine. But I went more for cubes. So you cut the potato in quarters and then dice it to about that size. But again, it's all up to you. You can probably even do this with wedges. All up to you. Once I had the amount of potatoes I wanted, the next thing is to make the sauce. Now, for the sauce, instead of using an Alfredo sauce, I use cream of mushroom soup by Campbell's. And honestly, it was so disgusting to look at. Just look at that. Oh gosh. Ew. Anyway, so I diluted it according to the directions on the can because this was more of a condensed soup. And I did half water, half milk because I was using evaporated milk. What you're gonna do is mix, 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 and pour that in with the rest of the soup mixture. Mix, mix, mix again. And make sure that you don't have clumps. The only clumps you should see are the mushrooms from the soup, not the actual soup itself. Usually I find that these soups are kind of bland, so I like to add more to them to give them some more taste. Add some seasoning salt, mix that in, black pepper, and at this point I remembered that I had to put the potatoes to boil. So I went and did that. I actually completely forgot. Another set of seasoning, same as with the sauce for the meatballs, except this one did not have garlic because garlic tends to be a bit stronger. So just the same seasonings and pour that in to the mixture. Give it a nice mix so everything is well distributed. I like mushrooms, so I decided to add some more. I basically added half the can and chopped it finely because there are members of my family who do not like the mushrooms. Tough luck. I like them. Once that's done, you're stirring the mushrooms. Again, making sure it's evenly distributed because you don't want some parts having clumps of mushrooms. And at this point, since the potatoes still were not finished boiling, I worked on my bread. And here is my loaf baby that I made the day before. For the first time making bread, this was not bad, but I found it was kind of dense. I guess because I did not let it set since I used baking powder. Maybe I'll try with yeast next time, I don't know. At this point, my potatoes were done. Here's a tip: put the strainer on top of the pot, then you take it and pour out the water. With this, you don't have to be fighting to keep the potatoes in the pot. Next up, you take a pan that you know will fit all of your potatoes and make sure that you grease it properly, getting all the sides, the corners, everything. Because if that sticks, you're in for a load of disaster. I took my sauce out the fridge and simply poured it right into the potatoes because at this point, that's all that was left to do. So pour that in. I added a little extra butter and added some cheese as well, and mixed it all up. Nothing more. Pour that into the pan. It's a struggle. And make sure everything is distributed because some corners might have more sauce than others. And you know, you don't want that to happen because it's gonna dry out. I highly recommend wiping off the side of the dish because it's gonna cause a horrible burning smell in the oven and that side of the pan starts to burn. Next up, I added some cheese to the top and a little paprika for color. Once that was done, I realized the meatballs were finished, so I took them out to the oven. Look how beautiful those look. To make sure the top of the meatballs didn't dry out while I finished everything else, I turned them over and let them sit in the sauce until everything was finished. Here is a final look at the meatballs. Once that was done, I took the potatoes and put them in the oven. When I put them in the oven, the next thing I had to work on was the garlic bread. Now you put parchment paper on your baking sheet to make sure that the bread has no excuse to stick to the pan. I made the garlic butter the night before with parsley, grated garlic, and a little seasoning salt. Here's what it looks like. Just lather your bread generously with butter. There's no such thing as too much garlic bread. Just put that in the oven and then you're good to go. Just let the butter melt and then it's finished. Here's a look close up of the garlic bread. I'm quite proud of how they turned out. And the potatoes finished soon after because they're already boiled, they didn't need to cook. Now it's time to put everything together. Let's start with the potatoes. Those were so creamy and delicious. Just all around my favorite part of the meal. Next up, it's the meatballs. I found that they were very well seasoned but acid, and I found that to be a trend with Hunt's products. Next up, garlic bread. Very delicious, but again, dense. And here's everything put together. My mother came in clutch with coleslaw and cucumbers. Overall, I enjoyed it a lot. And yes, I did have my dessert, my 3-layer jello. Here it is, nicely layered. And that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed me eating the food that I made. Like, I mean, you can always try it for yourself, not even seeing me make it. But like, that was delicious. Hopefully I can do some more cooking videos from now on because I really do enjoy making them. Granted, they don't get a lot of views as my other stuff. My views have declined on a whole now. But that's okay. I just do this for fun. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do more cooking videos along with my sewing videos and stuff. So hope you can stick around to see me do all of that. And thank you for watching as usual. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!